Hey everyone, I'm Max Dalton, and in this video, I'm going to give an overview of what a project charter in project management is by discussing 11 project charter elements that are critical to having a strong project charter. The project charter contains high-level information about what a project will entail, and its approval gives formal authorization for the project to move forward and the project team to be pulled together. This video outlines 11 project charter elements that are critical to having a strong project charter, which will lay the foundation for a successful project. Summary of problems or opportunities. The purpose of this section is to give a narrative overview of any problems that this project helps the business solve, or any opportunities this project helps the business take advantage of. You can also have both problems and opportunities associated with a project, and you can have multiple problems or opportunities associated with a project as well. For both problems and opportunities, you should give a narrative overview of the problem or opportunity and then a summary of the financial impact, positive or negative. Project scope. The project scope description found in the project charter is a narrative overview of the work that will be achieved as part of the project. You should outline whether the deliverables associated with this project will be completed at once or in phases, and you should also call out what is in scope for this project and what is out of scope for this project. The purpose of this is to clearly call out what items will or will not be delivered. Be very specific in the project scope section, as this is something you can use to defend yourself further down the line if someone tries to say that a specific piece should or should not have been delivered. Risks and assumptions. You need to list what risk you see on the horizon that could impact this project and what assumptions you're making associated with the project. Risk to a project can come from a variety of places. If a vendor you want to work with is not in good shape financially, you may list it as a risk that you have to use another vendor who isn't as familiar with your company. Alternatively, there may be a risk that local, state, or federal government passes legislation that will make what you were doing as part of this project far less valuable. Additionally, you may be working on a project where environmental considerations are important. Maybe you're running a project that will require a lot of outside work over a period of time, and weather forecasters are predicting bad tornadoes during that time frame. You would definitely want to include that as a risk. The universe of risks is wide, and you want to make sure you not only list them, but have a plan in place to mitigate them. Regarding assumptions, this primarily comes into play around resources and scheduling, as you'll likely have to make assumptions around developer resources available to you, testing resources available to you, and other forms of team member support. Definition of success. You should always have it clearly laid out what the criteria are for this particular project being a success. For success criteria, you need to start by reaching back and looking at the objectives, opportunities, and benefits associated with the project. For example, if you make a tool as a result of the project and part of the value proposition associated with moving forward and creating the tool is that this tool will make it possible for your company to generate widgets twice as fast, then you would want to clearly state within the success criteria that part of what will make this project a success is if this tool generates widgets twice as quickly, among other things. All of the success criteria should be measurable so that after a period of time, the business can look back and determine if the project was a success, and if it wasn't, they will want to dig into it and understand where they went wrong. Project milestones. This section should just list a high-level summary of the major pieces of work that will need to be completed to finish this project. You may need to put some forecasted start and end dates on these milestones to give decision makers an idea of when those pieces and the overall project will be completed. However, because you won't have gone through a deeper discovery and generated a formal project plan yet, these dates are very rough and highly prone to change. Benefits. Understanding the benefits of a project are the first step in understanding the value proposition associated with a project. As part of understanding the benefit, it's important to quantify everything you can. For example, it's not acceptable for someone to say that this project will save 2 employees time, but rather you have to go deeper and understand how much time it will save those employees. From there, you can apply the assumed hourly rate for those employees and extrapolate it out over the course of a year to arrive at the dollar amount saved associated with saving those 2 employees' time. And while cost savings are a critical driver in selecting most projects, it's equally important to outline benefits that truly can't be quantified as well. Solution options. You'll need to include a high-level summary of all of the solution options for addressing this project. Each solution option should have its own summary, risks, assumptions, ongoing costs associated with that option, and a rough order of magnitude estimate. Further, you should highlight the recommended solution option you're putting forward for consideration. This will give anyone who reviews the charter an overview of what other options were considered and maybe help them understand why you went with a specific option. Rough order of magnitude estimate. A rough order of magnitude estimate, or ROM, is a high-level guess around the all-in level of effort to develop a project, plus or minus 50% based on very high-level discovery around the requested deliverables. This number should be generated after discussions with the necessary technical people who can look at the high-level deliverables and, after doing a small amount of further digging, supply a spitball number associated with development for that deliverable. From there, you need to factor in time for project management, testing, and deployment, and also add any necessary contingency. You should generate a ROM for each available solution option. So, for example, if you communicate that a particular solution option has a rough order of magnitude estimate of 200 hours, you're saying that the maximum number of hours you could see being spent on this project is 300 hours, and the least number of hours you could see being spent on this project is 100 hours. Return on investment, payback period, and value proposition. The return on investment can be generated by taking the dollar amount associated with the benefits of completing the project minus the cost of completing the project. You can also use that same information to generate the payback period associated with the project, which is how long it takes the project to effectively pay for itself. All of this information makes up the overall value proposition with completing a specific project. This is the information that decision makers will ultimately look at to determine whether it makes sense to do this project instead of other projects in the pipeline. Project team and stakeholders. You need to list all stakeholders and their associated roles in this project. At the top, you should have an executive sponsor who should be someone at a higher level in your organization who can serve as a champion for this project. You can generally slide the person who submitted the business case into this role if they are a more senior person in your organization. From there, you should have a representative stakeholder from each functional area that will be affected by the outcome of this project. For example, this may mean you involve individuals from human resources, finance, IT, sales, and other areas as necessary. Additionally, you need to include the people who will actually be doing the work on the project. Stakeholder sign-off. It is absolutely critical that all key stakeholders sign off on the project charter, indicating that they are in agreement with the high-level assessment of the work that needs to be done, the schedule for getting that work done, how they want to measure whether it was successful, and who needs to be involved. If you don't get signatures and dates on paper, then it leaves open the option for someone to come back and say that there was additional work that was agreed upon by the team that isn't being done as part of the project. If you have a project charter that everyone has signed off on, you can refer back to that and clearly see whether or not that person has a valid point and take the necessary action. Congratulations! You now know what a project charter in project management is and what some of the key project charter elements are. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. If you liked what you saw here, click the video link on the right side of the screen to check out another video. Or click the logo on the left side of the screen to subscribe to this channel to see more great videos like this one.